hate the reversal thing because it's like I wanted this to show up, but oh wow. Hey guys, how you doing? Wanted to do something for the Patreon because I have been so busy, luckily, with freelance work, and we just reopened the shop. I'm there now. If you hear rumblings in the background, this guy's playing Magic. Customers, I have somebody else in the front today. I'm so unshaven too. My hair, look at how long my hair is getting that I have to wear a thing to hold it. So that's not, and been wanting to go back and get into everything with the Patreon. If you see behind me, I mean, this is videos reversed, but that's my board and that's everything I'm doing and all the stuff that's going on, and that's work behind me that's been done or waiting or what have you. I have a couple of there are 2 commissions I gotta do. So yeah, you get to see a little bit of the dungeon paintings, work I'm doing, supplies, all that stuff. But yeah, I wanted to just touch base with everybody, and it's a new month. It's June. It's also been, the thing is, like, obviously with what's going on and with the Black Lives Matter movement and just incredible fucking injustice, and excuse of the language, but what's going on out there. Yeah, we had, you know, it's kind of just ridiculous to fucking be like, I drew the Hulk today, you know, or like it's like there's a more important things. Like even in my own feed, and I know a lot of us can get fatigued by it, and there's a lot of times, but it's just something that's so fucking bad that we have to address. And I do want to lend some advice to that too. A lot of people, I had this whole thing about like, well, you cared, you'd be protesting, you'd be out, you'd be doing this, you're just fucking weird. I understand, sometimes you can't. I head up 2 businesses and my own work to eke out a living of some sort. Happy as hell. Life is great for me because I'm able to do that. But not everybody can. Not everybody can go out and do it. I'm planning to go to something on Sunday, you know, go and protest. You know, numbers matter and you have to go. That being said, and you should try at least once. And for the experience of it, go to a daytime protest. Most of the time, that's not the hairy ones. You know, be careful and everything else. I can understand. Some people are also afraid because of COVID. There's still, that shit's still going on. That's another thing that was wearing down everybody. And all those things are real factors, and people's health and being outside and walking. It's hard, but there are people out there doing it. And if you can't join, then spreading the word, educating not only yourself but other people, which has been something I think for Cuban Americans, especially my generation, I've been doing a lot lately. Like I've seen a lot of people try to reach out to their parents and reach out to everything else. This is because there is a little bit of a systemic racism within the Cuban community, especially. That's maybe for another time. Maybe I'll address it in the podcast. I don't want to turn into something that's kind of ugly, but it is getting better. But people are doing that, and you should go as much as possible. And the third thing is you should donate, and donating does a lot. You know, I had a feeble amount of money, but you know, I've gone and given as much as I can to not only a lot of what is the bail bonds to help a lot of the people come out. There's a lot of local ones. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I have posted on there a couple of links and a couple of places that you can go. But writing letters, making phone calls, and the phone call thing, a lot of people won't do it. They'll tell you they'll do it, but they won't do it because they feel weird, like, oh, I have to talk and I have to be on my voice. That's really effective because it's about the numbers. You know, if people really gave a shit, it's amazing what can be done. You know, enough people like Nickelback, and somehow people fucking so they're $1 million. I'm like, and that's a horrible band. And I'm like, wow, why? Because enough people fucking like it. So if enough people fucking care, things can happen. There's changes that can happen. So I'm just putting this video now to, you know, go forward and put my 2 cents in and talk to you guys and talk to everybody and on not only Patreon but also on my YouTube channel and everything else. That's my main thing. So it's kind of hard for me to be pushing artwork. I am still working. I have a lot of artwork going on, a lot of things going on. I'm looking at the pile of stuff I have on my desk. So luckily that's good. But yeah, I think there's a lot we can do. And if you go, and I'm not saying this to go because I want the hits, but if you go to my page, or you go to Shaun King, ShaunKing, on Instagram, Annette Collazo for 110. She's a local candidate that's running for a state representative. That's another person. These people are posting and doing things and trying to get people mobilized. I would urge you guys, go out there and try it out. Go and see and see what happens. There's no reason you shouldn't. That little bit does so much. And then from there, it's just simply, you know, keeping on the pressure and making sure and seeing through everything. Oh, Billy Corbin's another one. For Miami people, but anybody, Billy Corbin's great. At BillyCorbin.com, at Billy Corbin on Instagram. Excellent. You know, I've been following what he's been doing. Lifestyle Miami's been really good. Made in Dade is doing really good. You know, all these guys have been posting really good content about what's going on, especially locally. But I've been looking at nationally and everything else. So yeah, if you see that lack of update or anything like that, I'm also saying this because next week I'm planning to go back to the regular schedule and hitting hard and putting new stuff and posting more during the day. And I'm probably gonna still be stacking that with other things, this movement, and keeping this movement going. And if for whatever reason people feel like I shouldn't, or maybe I don't know if it interferes, or if I feel like it interferes with what's going on, I'll probably go back to taking it easy again. The one thing I will be still doing and promoting and pushing out is the blog, and that's every Sunday. And that's something that's just for me, like, I try to make it religious. Like every Sunday, blog goes up, post this, put this thing together, and everything else. And I will, this Sunday, I hope to put like a bunch of the links that I just talked about on there too. But this is just my moment to reach out, talk to you guys. And because I've had different questions from different people, and I've had DMs from different people going like, oh, what about this, and it's funny because sometimes I think there's just there's just so many signals right now. We're just trying to get to one and follow that, and you're gonna have to be malleable, you're gonna have to be on it. It's not easy, but we have to be. But going forward, you know, that's what I hope to do. And touch base with you guys, and that's my feelings with you, and hopefully, you know, with enough people, this problem in our country will be addressed. I think it's going to take a long time. And also, you know, Black Lives Matter. I was talking about Nickelback. Hopefully we'll get rid of Nickelback, and okay, joke, but no, hopefully it's going to take a while. I don't think this is overnight. I don't think one riot or 10 riots are gonna do it. I think 100 protests will do something, and we've already seen that they're gonna convict these foul motherfuckers that did this crime. And I hope they get the maximum of whatever they can be given, and hopefully we can heal, and hopefully things will change. I've already heard about resignations in the New York police force. I've heard about, you know, certain people. I will say this, if there is a stance that might be controversial on my part, is that I am very much for a non-violent way of doing this. I know a lot of people are pissed, a lot of people are mad, a lot of people want to just eradicate the police or do harm. I don't think on either side that should be fucking done. Plain and simple. That should not be done. That is not up to you. You're not allowed to do that. I think when it's the numbers and we go out there and force as people, as individuals, is much more powerful than those that are out there looting and destroying things. I can understand the anger. I even understand the greediness and the people that are taking advantage of this just to steal shit. I can understand it. It's confusing. You know, they even say like most people will end up looting just because they're there and they just see it as an opportunity and they get frantic and they do it. And they're good people. They're people that would regularly never do that. There's a whole talk about that. But I think it's just fucking wrong. It's bad for the message and wrong for what you're believing. You're just fucking it up for yourself. So I think on that point, that's another take. You know, that's a thing and I do believe that there are good cops out there. I do believe that there are policemen that are trying to do the right thing. It's very hard. It's very hard. I keep telling people the same thing. Most police officers, they don't call them to have pie, bro. They don't say, hey man, there's too much cake at this party. Can you send an officer over to eat it? No, an officer responds to some of the worst shit that human beings do. I've heard this from family members that are police officers, from friends, from everything. No one calls them for the good stuff. It's all bad. And because of that, I think years of that, we have made a culture for them that is only aggressive. And that's all they know. And that's all they can do. And I think maybe there's another way and they need to be helped and trained, because a police officer is still a human being and we all make fucking mistakes. And I think civilians need to acknowledge and know how to handle a situation too. There's a lot of guys out there that they post some great stuff. There's people that test the First Amendment and talk about the rights and talk about what you can do, and you can research this and arm yourself if you're in a situation that is a legal matter with the police. Know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. A lot of people get off on the wrong fucking foot and start some shit too. Now, I'm not saying there's not motherfuckers out there, and that I would dare say a majority of police officers are fucking assholes. Okay? I know, but I've met many. I've met some, and I'm lucky. I'm counting my luck here. I've met many that they're dudes, they're guys. I just think the culture is very violent behind it, and it's just part of the fucking job. And we have to hold them to a higher level. You know what I'm saying? We have to hold them to a level that we can judge them by. But at the same time, they need to be paid and treated at that level. If we're going to hone a human being and say, this is a law enforcement officer, this is somebody that's going to enforce something that's very near and dear and to us, just like we look at a judge, just like we look at a governor or mayor, this is a police officer, then we need to enforce that. We need to look at that and say, okay, how is that done in the right way, you know? And we might be working at ground zero, bro. This is, you know, this might take a long fucking time. All right? This is not going to happen like 2020. All right, that's done. What's the next problem we're going to fix? No, it might take a while. But if we all come to an understanding, we know we're in the middle of this change, and these are growing pains now that we're going through, then it might be worthwhile, you know? So I do believe in that. I do, you know, push that of a non-violent way of doing it. But I understand. I understand totally. When you're mad, especially if you're a young black man, black woman, I fucking understand, man. I don't have to live like you do. I understand. So, but don't let that get to you. Don't let that poison you. Don't let it poison you. You know, I think there's a lot of hope there. And bust a move and make your shit, and you'll see that we'll get there. So this is my message for you guys, and hope you enjoyed it. Maybe it's not, I don't know if it was funny or good or bad or whatever, but it's something I wanted to just touch base with everybody. And like I say on the podcast, and like I say every time, you know, and it seems a little trite, but I think it's something to be good. Be good. Check on your neighbors. Talk to people. Ask them how they are. You'll see that everything will work out. You'll see. But keep it in mind, all right? Be good.